The porch door opens. The porch door opens before you knock. Sage and butter. Something sweet going wrong in the oven. You're already inside before the cold follows you in. Danny's by the food, plate loaded, laughing with his mouth full. And there's the watch before you've even really clocked him. Steel case, black strap, clean face that doesn't need to say anything because everyone already knows what it costs. A Cartier tank must. Quartz. A little over $3,000. He doesn't mention it. He reaches for a roll and lets his wrist rest there a second longer than reaching requires. You notice. You always notice. Your brain runs the math automatically, the way it does in parking lots and Instagram comment sections. In any room where someone else's life looks more finished than yours. Traffic wasn't bad, he asks. You say no. Neither of you is lying exactly. You're just not saying the whole thing. Out front later, he shows you the car. New lease. This year's 330i, that specific blue that photographs sharper than it looks in person. He tells you the monthly like it's a joke, and laughs a little at the number. 6-something. Insurance not included. You nod like you're impressed because part of you is. Another part, the quieter one, is already running math you didn't ask it to run. You think about the bag sitting in your cart right now. A Coach tabby. Camel leather, $295 you don't have loose, but you have a store card with room on it and a promotional rate that becomes 24% the second you're a single day late. You've done this math before, you just haven't let yourself finish it. Standing there on the porch, watching Danny check his own reflection in the car window before he opens the door, something in you just goes still, more like watching someone hold their breath underwater and not being sure which way it ends. You don't buy the bag that night. You close the tab in the bathroom with the door locked and nobody watching. And it doesn't feel like a victory. It doesn't feel like anything. That's the part nobody prepares you for. That the right decision in the moment feels exactly like the wrong one. Quiet, small, completely unwitnessed. You drive home with the heater going and the headlights sliding across empty fields, and you think about the watch. Not wanting it exactly, wanting what it seemed to prove. You pull into your driveway a little after 10. Before you go inside, you sit there with the engine off and your phone in your lap. You open your banking app. The number loads. $211.40 in checking. Below it, the other number, the one you've been avoiding for longer than 6 days. $6,410. The balance on a card you opened your second year out of college when a promotional rate felt like free money instead of a countdown. Almost 24% APR. You go inside and don't turn on the overhead. Just the light over the stove, because there's something about the half-dark that makes honesty easier. You think about Alina, 2 desks over. She brought her lunch every single day for a year and let everyone assume it was about the diet. 6 months ago, she got promoted, took the better title, the better pay, and never moved out of the apartment she shares with a roommate. Never got the one bedroom near the water that everyone around her seemed to expect. Still drives the same dented Corolla. You'd thought it was strange once. A little sad, maybe, until she mentioned offhand one morning restocking the break room coffee, that she'd been putting money into something called a Roth IRA. You didn't want her to know you didn't know what that was. You looked it up on your lunch break weeks later, and then you closed the tab and did nothing with it. You open your laptop at the kitchen table. The stove light throws your shadow long across the wall. Fidelity's site is plainer than you expected. No confetti, no motivational language, nothing that looks like the ads you scroll past. Just fields. Name, social security number, bank account, and a box asking how much. You type $50. But $50 is the number that won't wake you up at 3 in the morning regretting it. You hit submit without letting hesitation win. The way you'd pull off a bandage. No confirmation lands with music. You sit there with your hands flat on the table. No applause. No feeling of arrival. The refrigerator hums. And underneath the nothing, something smaller and stranger you don't have a name for yet. Something closer to the feeling of locking a door you forgot you'd left open. Your phone buzzes. Danny, probably, tagging you in something. You're already thinking about next Tuesday. About the $50 after that. About what it might mean to do this. Enough times it stops feeling like a decision at all. The raise arrives on a Thursday buried inside an email with a subject line too boring to prepare you for what's inside. $4,000 more a year. Enough to change your grocery store if you wanted. You sit with it through lunch, through the drive home, through dinner standing at the counter. And then the temptation starts working on you the way water works on stone. Slow, patient, certain. You open apartment listings you have no business looking at. 1 bedroom 2 blocks from the water, $650 more a month than you're paying now. You close it. You open car listings instead. A 330i, same blue as Danny's, $611 a month, before insurance, before the down payment you don't currently have. You run the other math instead, the math you're getting used to running. If you took that $611, the exact lease number, and put it into an index fund, averaging what the S&P 500 has averaged over the last 30 years. You're looking at something over $1 million by the time you're 60, just quietly, every month, compounding while you drive the same Civic to the same job. You say that sounds nice. You mean it, and you feel exactly zero pull toward it. Monday morning, you log into your benefits portal on your break, the fluorescent light in the break room humming overhead. You bump your 401k contribution from 6% to 15%. The system asks you to confirm. You do. Somewhere distantly, this is a step toward this year's contribution ceiling. $23,000. A number so large it doesn't feel real yet. Not on your salary. But what you actually feel is smaller and more specific than that. Just the quiet click of a decision being made without anyone watching. You take the raise and split it. A little more into the Roth, a little more automated into savings. The rest absorbs so completely into your existing life that nobody around you would ever know you got one. Alina notices something though. Not the raise. Just the way you talk about money now. More careful, more specific. She asks one morning, restocking the coffee again, if you've started doing something. You say you're just being smarter. She nods like she already knew. Like she's been waiting for you to catch up to something she found a while back. 3 weeks later, the water heater goes. A low groan from somewhere beneath the house at 6 a.m. Like something giving up. You're downstairs in sock feet before you've fully registered what woke you, and by then the water is already spreading in a slow dark sheet across the utility closet floor. The plumber who comes that afternoon doesn't waste time being gentle. Units shot. Corroded tank, not worth patching. $2,400 parts and labor if you want it done today. You say yes. That night you open your accounts the way you've been doing most nights. Checking. $490. Most of it already promised to rent. The brokerage account? $11,200. Sitting in shares of an index fund that doesn't care what your water heater decided to do this morning. Your thumb hovers over the sell button. Just a partial sale, you tell yourself. Just enough to cover it. You've done the math 100 times about what this account becomes in 30 years. You haven't once done the math on what happens if you reach into it now. Mid-climb, mid-sentence, before it's had time to become anything. You open the other tab, the savings account you built, a little at a time, boring and unglamorous, sized to cover roughly 2 months of your real expenses. $1,900 sitting there for no reason anyone would notice, waiting. It's not enough to cover everything, but it's enough to cover the water heater without selling a single share. You close the laptop, the floor of the utility closet is still wet. The account is smaller than you'd like. Nothing about tonight feels like a victory. But underneath the exhaustion, quiet as the number itself, you notice you didn't sell. The shield held, and you sit with that a moment before you go to bed. The account climbs back slower than the hot water does. Hot water comes back in a day. Danny posts a video that Sunday. Him and his girlfriend on a balcony somewhere. Turquoise water behind them. 3 words, and a location pin. You watch it twice before you understand why you're watching it twice. Not envy exactly. Something more like pressing a bruise to see if it still does what bruises do. You set the phone face down and go back to unloading the dishwasher. By the time you're done, you've mostly forgotten the shape of what you felt. Alina catches you in the stairwell at work, the one nobody uses because the elevator is faster, and asks how you're doing. Really asking. Not the hallway version. You tell her about the water heater. You're not sure why you hold that part back, except that saying it out loud might make it more real than it already was. You didn't touch it though, she says. Like she already knows the ending. No, you say. I didn't. She nods once, the way she does when something lands right and doesn't make a bigger deal of it than that. Just 2 people in a stairwell and one of them knowing exactly what the other one didn't do. Your cousin Ranata works nights at the hospital and has never once mentioned a number to you in her life. Her house is small and older, the kind with a driveway that cracks a little more every winter. She put a new roof on it this year. You ask her how she managed it. She shrugs. She's been putting money into an LLC, Sable Ridge Holdings, half joking about the name. It owns a small rental property 2 towns over. Nobody knows about it. Not her mother, not her coworkers. Just her. And now you. Why keep it quiet, you ask? Because the second people know, she says. They get opinions. You think about that the whole drive home, about how the people you've told anything, the Roth, the 401k bump, even the water heater, have mostly been the ones who already understood, who didn't need it explained or defended. Everyone else just gets a version of you that seems fine, because it is fine, mostly, in the way that matters. You start noticing how often the loudest people around you talk about money like a performance, how the quietest ones don't talk about it at all. You go quieter on social media without deciding to. You just stop opening it as often. Nobody notices that either. The account climbs back past where it was before the water heater, then past where it's ever been. All of it happening on a schedule nobody but you is watching. You start to understand that the silence isn't hiding something, it's protecting it. Danny still has the watch. You see it every time. You don't want it anymore. You're not sure you ever really did. What you wanted was what it seemed to promise. And somewhere along the way, you got something that looks nothing like it and does the job better. Some evening not far from now, you'll try to explain all of this to someone. Maybe Ranata, maybe no one. And you'll find there isn't much to say. No dramatic before and after. No single Tuesday where everything clicked. Just a long quiet string of them, adding up to something nobody would guess at from the outside. The account still dips some mornings. Your stomach still drops a little with it. You just don't reach for the sell button anymore. Somewhere tonight, someone else is sitting in a dark driveway with $211.40 in checking, thumb hovering, engine cooling, deciding which door to walk through.